Hawaiian Island warriors, we come again. Hawaiian Island warriors.
Aloha, Coach Thane with SportsViz here, talking to you about pursuing a college sports opportunity. Now, we do a lot of work with football players, but the hints, tips, and suggestions we're going to provide to you today are applicable across all sports and to all colleges. So pay attention, take a note or two, and who knows, in the near future, you may be a college athlete. Okay, let's take a look at some of the information we're going to be covering. Preparation. A lot of steps that need to be taken early on in the process to better prepare you to pursue that sports opportunity. We're going to take a look at those steps. Video. Video can be used to improve your performance. Video can be used to let the colleges out there know that you have the skill level necessary to compete at their level. Self-evaluation. You need to do a self-evaluation. There's a number of things that you need to evaluate that will determine what type of programs you pursue, where in the country you pursue these programs, etc. So self-evaluation, very important, and an honest self-evaluation is very important. Recruiting profiles. A lot of companies out there trying to sell you a recruiting profile. Some are free, some are limited cost or low cost. Others can be quite expensive, into the thousands of dollars. The fact of the matter is that these are static, that a coach has to go there and look for these profiles. So if you're not actively using them, and you are paying a lot of money for it, it may be a waste. So you want to look into that and see what type of profiles are out there, what the costs are, and how they may best work for you. Now, digital media. You need to be digital media savvy. You need to know how to work with YouTube and copy a link and put that link into an email and send a mass email to multiple coaches at one time. If you master digital media and you can use the tools, then it makes the process of letting your skills and talents be known to the coaches out there much easier. Now, email campaign, following up on what we just talked about. You can't produce a profile and let it sit there and do nothing. You need to go actively pursue opportunities, and by doing email campaigns where you blanket email multiple coaches at one time, it makes it very effective and easy to do. And then finally, we're going to talk about what you need to do once you've secured that college sports opportunity. I've got it in hand, I've signed the letter of intent. Now I've got 3 or 4 months to prepare. What are some of the things I need to think about? So that's the information we're going to be covering, and let's get right to it. All right, first thing we want to talk about is preparation. Number of steps in preparation, in the preparation phase, if you will. But first and foremost, grades, grades, grades. Yep, said it 3 times. That's how important it is. Now, I often will be talking to local athletes about their grades. I'll say, hey, how's your grades? Oh, good, coach, good, coach. And I'll be a bit more specific. Well, what's your GPA? Oh, 2.2. Well, guys, 2.2 is not a good GPA. It's a GPA that keeps you eligible to play local high school sports. But when it comes to D1 or D2 athletics under the NCAA, very specific requirements when it comes to GPA, very specific requirements when it comes to course load. And if you don't have the right grades and the right courses, then you may find yourself on the outside looking in, trying to find a junior college opportunity. So again, take care of those grades. Very, very important. Now, dedication to sport, another very important aspect. Obviously, the more dedication to the sport you have, the better prepared you'll be to compete, the better impression you make on coaches and other players, and this will all serve to open more opportunities for you in the long run. So you need to have dedication to your sport. You need to have commitment to your team. Over my years of coaching, you'd be surprised how many athletes look for ways to get out of practice, look for ways to avoid team-related activities. That's not going to work. If you're going to pursue a college sports opportunity, you need to be dedicated to your team and put that first and foremost in terms of decision making. Now, off-season commitment. Same thing. A lot of times I'll hear players, I'll ask them about their off-season program. Oh, you're lifting with the team? Oh, no, I'm lifting at home. Hey, you're never going to get the same motivation. You're never going to get the same level of instruction doing it at home versus being part of a team program. If there's a summer program that's organized by the team, you should be part of it. End of discussion. Skill development. What are you doing outside of organized activities by the team to get better? Are you attending camps, clinics? Are you, watching videos to better prepare yourself to compete? These type of things. So what are you doing to develop your skills outside of the team activities? And then, are you participating in combines and showcases? Now, again, we're isolated here on the Big Island, and we need to be able to provide these college recruiters with as much information as we can so that they can evaluate us, because they often don't have an opportunity to come over and see us compete by the eyeball test. Okay, so a combine where you are put through a number of skills, times are taken, measurements are made, and then these pieces of information are put in a place where these coaches can get to it and evaluate it, then this is going to help. And particularly for football players, soccer players, these combines are very, very important in establishing some measurables so the coach at least has some idea of your basic skill level. Showcase is also important. So particularly in sports like soccer, volleyball, baseball, you'll have these showcases where they get together and you have competing with other club teams or just showing off your skills to a bunch of college coaches, etc. So if you have an opportunity to compete in a showcase, by all means, this is something that can help later on. Now, one of the other things that you need to keep in mind in terms of preparation is just dealing with the paperwork and the requirements, the documentation necessary to pursue a college sports opportunity. If you are serious about being a college athlete, then early on, this should be a point of discussion with your high school counselor, with your athletic director, so they can make sure throughout the years that you're taking the right courses, that they're counseling you with respect to your grades, etc., so that when it comes time to pursue that college sports opportunity, all your ducks are in a row. Specifically with NCAA Division I and Division II, there's a clearinghouse, so you need to be providing information to the NCAA, they review the information, and then they certify you as an athlete that's eligible to participate at the D1 or D2 level. Now, there's some different requirements for the NAIA, California JCs, and national JCs, and it's important that you make yourself aware of these so that when it comes time to evaluate the process, that you have the knowledge necessary so that you can at least take the right steps to make sure that you're eligible for the level of the program that you want to compete at. Part of the preparation phase that's almost as important as grades, but not quite, is video. And I've got it listed 3 times just like grades. Video, video, video. Okay. Number one, video is important in terms of just getting better, improving your skill level. So there's plenty of research that's been done that shows that video modeling, which is watching video of a skill being performed correctly, and video feedback, which is watching video of you performing the skill, are both very important in terms of improving skill level. So you should be evaluating your own video and video of others who are experts in the field and trying to mirror that to improve your skill level. Now, highlights. Now, highlights depends on who you talk to on the level of importance. Certainly, if you're a star athlete, if you're getting plenty of coverage on the statewide television system here, if you're putting up numbers and getting seen nationally, then highlights may not be as important. Certainly we've seen this with some local athletes here who have gotten D1 football opportunities who haven't necessarily had to produce a highlight reel to do that. However, there's a whole nother segment of the local athlete population who's not getting seen, who are playing sports that maybe aren't getting the coverage. And for you, having a concise video highlight that you can send out as a link in an email to a recruiting coordinator is an important aspect. Now, one thing you have to remember about video highlights is that the highlights that you're interested and your parents are interested in watching are often different than what a recruiting coordinator is going to be interested in. So you need to keep that in mind as those are being produced. Okay? Okay, so every single play that you ever made, including plays away from the action where you happen to get a blindside block on a guy and knock him off his feet, but it had no bearing on the play, etc., but it looks good and your boys are impressed. These type of things, the heavy-duty rap music, etc., etc., these are not necessarily what a recruiting coordinator is looking for. A recruiting coordinator wants a highlight reel that's very efficient. In the first couple minutes, they want to be able to make some decisions about whether they should watch the rest of the highlight video. In other words, let's talk about a D1 program, a USC, for instance. I mean, imagine how much video the recruiting coordinators at USC have to go through. So they need to very quickly, within the first couple minutes, get some information on the student, some measurables, some idea of whether they'll be eligible to even compete academically, and a good idea of the skill level of the player so that they can make a decision whether to pursue this player. And again, you want to make it easy for them. You want to have all that information right up front, so within a minute or 2 minutes they've got the information they need, and if they're interested they can continue to watch the video and then maybe start recruiting you as an athlete. So again, highlight video, well produced, that has graphics with information about your measurables, your combine performance, all leagues, what camps you've gone to, this type of thing, followed by some real well-produced highlights. So in other words, you want to stack the deck, if you will. So the first couple minutes, you should have all your big highlights in the first couple minutes, and that's going to reel them in, if you will, and make them more interested in watching the remainder of the highlight. So we're going to actually interject right at this point. We're going to show you a highlight tape that we produced for one of our local athletes, and you can take a look at some of the production values. You'll see the intro where we have information. You'll see the first introductory highlights, high energy, big plays, and then we break it down a little bit later in the format so that as the recruiting coordinator makes the decision they want to watch more, then we start breaking it down by, if it's a multi position athlete, say in football, if they have offense, defense, and special teams, we'll have it broken down by that and so forth. So take a look at this particular recruiting video.
So Jimenez gets a foul ball on the right side. Takes a tackle. Trying to get outside. Another good drive by Justin.
SportsViz, we do this professionally. Right now, it's about $150 to $175 to produce, a 5 to 8 minute video, which has the graphics and is organized to make college recruiters interested. We also post that to YouTube and produce hard copies as well. So depending on what the particular recruiting coordinator wants, a lot of them just want links. They don't want to be bothered with DVDs, but some are still old-fashioned and want to have a hard copy as well. So we produce those, but at the same point in time, if you have nowadays, if you have the skills and the equipment, for $600-800, you can buy an inexpensive HD video camera, an inexpensive but high-performing laptop, and all the other accessories necessary to make it work, and you can be producing your own highlights and really driving your own college opportunity pursuit, if you will. So keep that in mind, is that you can have it professionally done. If your parents or you have the wherewithal, then you can produce it yourself. Okay, finally, when it comes to the video stage of preparation, game video is also important. So everybody has a highlight reel. You know, if I look hard enough, I can find a highlight reel for just about any athlete. Okay, but were those 12 plays on the highlight reel the only plays they made the entire season? Well, the recruiting coordinator wants to know that. Okay, so that's where game video comes in. With respect to football, here on the Big Island, since we record every single football game here, we're able to put those up on the web. It doesn't create a competitive disadvantage, but it does allow college recruiting coordinators to be able to watch a significant amount of film on any particular athlete from the standpoint of complete game. So they see not only the highlights that you make, but the mistakes that you make, or the lack of effort, or the super effort, etc. And this can be very helpful once they decide that, oh, okay, we're interested in this athlete based on his highlight tape, but now let's watch a couple complete games just to make sure that what we see on the highlight tape occurs throughout the whole game. Now, another aspect of preparation that's important is self-evaluation. We're isolated here on the Big Island. We don't get to compete against off-island teams as much as we would like, and we rarely get to compete against mainland teams. So that can give us a little bit of a false sense of security, if you will, as far as our skill level is concerned. Sometimes it's easy to dominate on the Big Island, but that might not necessarily translate to Oahu or to the mainland. So you've got to be honest with yourself about your skill level. Here's an example. Let's say you're a safety on the Big Island playing football, and you're dominating. You're an all-league safety. You make a ton of tackles. You've got a few interceptions. But when it comes to measurables, your 40-yard dash is a 5.0. Not too many college safeties out there running a 5.0. You know, 4.5, 4.7, yeah. 5.0, probably not. So again, you've got to be honest with yourself. You've got to take an honest look at your skill level and see where you may be able to compete at the college level. Academics, same thing. How much effort are you willing to put into academics? How are you doing? What's your GPA? Are you taking college level courses? The answers to these questions really determine what opportunities you may have out there. If you don't have a really solid academic college prep background, you might find it difficult to get into a lot of these D3 colleges. A lot of them are private colleges. There are no athletic scholarships at the D3 level. So you need to go in having some solid academics so they can have a reason to give you academic scholarships. And the unfortunate thing is a lot of our players on the Big Island are competitive at the Division III level, but they don't necessarily have the grades to go out and get the money, the financial support they need to go to a Division III college. Okay, so academics and evaluating your abilities and where you are, very, very important. Now, finances. You know, folks, even if you get a full ride scholarship to a D1 program, still got out-of-pocket expenses. No schools are paying for airfare. You don't get a ticket to fly back and forth from the mainland to Hawaii a few times a year. So if you're going to college, you know, at minimum you got travel expenses and some basic expenses, even if you're getting a full ride scholarship. If you're not getting a scholarship, then you better have financial aid lined up and so forth. So you've got to be honest with yourself about your finances and really start thinking about it a couple years out, putting some money away, having that college fund, if you will, just to deal with airfare, extra food, that type of thing. So making sure that you're financially prepared to actually take advantage of the opportunity is important as well. And another thing to consider is, do you have a support network on the mainland that's near colleges that you might be able to attend? Okay. Unfortunately, what we see a lot of times is local athletes find an opportunity, move to the mainland to take advantage of the opportunity, and after a year, they're back here because they couldn't take the lifestyle, weren't prepared for it. If you have that support network where you have you have relatives in a local area near a college where you can have a little bit of support, you can have people to hang out with on the weekends and be there to help you solve problems, etc. That can be very beneficial. Or if you go to a school as a group, what we've had success with recently is getting some of these junior colleges, most notably Ventura College and College of the Redwoods, to actually look at taking groups of our players. And this makes it much easier in terms of finding housing and having the support network, etc., that will allow you to be successful on the mainland pursuing that college sports opportunity. Now, another important aspect of preparation is research. Every college and university out there has a website. And on the website, they have academic information, they have athletic information. Get on the website, make sure that academically the college or university has a program that you're interested in. It's one thing to get a college sports opportunity, but if you get a college sports opportunity at a college that doesn't have anything you are interested in studying, it's not much of an opportunity. So get online, take a look at these colleges, make sure they have a course of study that you're interested in, then look at the athletic page, find the team you're interested in competing on, see what level they compete at, how they have been doing the past few seasons, take a look at the roster, see who's on the roster. Do they have Hawaii players on the roster? That can be important in terms of that support network we talked about. So a lot of information can be gained by looking at these websites. The other interesting piece of information that you'll find on the athletic website is a recruiting form. I don't know of a college or a university out there that doesn't have a recruiting form as part of their athletic website. And this allows you to tell the college that you're interested in competing there and give them some information about you so that they can make an evaluation as to whether or not they're interested in recruiting you. Okay? So, every night, sit down, knock out 2 or 3 of these recruiting forms. Next thing you know, 2 or 3 weeks down the road, you've got a few hundred colleges that you've contacted. And that can be important. So the other thing is most of them ask for the same information. So once you have that information down, it can be pretty quick to fill out these forms, and it doesn't take much time, can have a big impact on a college sports opportunity. So make sure you're filling out as many recruiting forms as possible. The other piece of information that you want to try to get when you're doing this research is either the coach or the recruiting coordinator's email. And you want to start creating, say, a Word document that has all these email addresses listed so that you can use this as your mass email address list when it comes time to send out some emails as part of your email campaign. Okay, so you want to fill out the recruiting form, you want to find the coach, get their contact information, or the recruiting coordinator. Smaller sports, it may be the head coach. Larger sports, they typically have a recruiting coordinator that's identified, and you want to have their email, their phone number, so you can contact them as necessary. Recruiting profiles. Now, recruiting profiles can be important in finding a college sports opportunity, but some can be very costly and as a result can lead to disappointment. Be aware of big promises and big money payouts. Okay, a couple I'd like to recommend: NCSA, nationally recognized, low cost to no cost. I know a number of island athletes have actually received scholarships and had the NCSA putting together profiles on their behalf. So that's a good one, and I've seen that work well. The other one that I highly recommend is PIAA, Pacific Island Athlete Alliance, run by Doris Sullivan on Oahu. Obviously much more in tune with the island athlete, works very closely with the athlete, and actually hands-on communicating with colleges, very specifically trying to link certain athletes with certain colleges and so forth. So anytime you can find an organization that's providing you with a recruiting profile at a very limited cost. PIAA, I think, is about $100 to join and have a profile there. And in conjunction with that profile, you have the person running the business actually taking an active hand in linking colleges and athletes together. Then I think you've got something going there. And specifically with PIAA, because it's Hawaii-based, probably the best bang for your buck. Okay, let's take a look at digital media. Now, mastering digital media can be an important aspect of pursuing a college sports opportunity. A lot of communication between college coaches and high school athletes occurs nowadays online or through other forms of digital media. And you should be aware of how to operate within that realm. YouTube, first and foremost, very efficient and effective way of sharing video. So you should be familiar with YouTube and how to operate within YouTube. You should know how to log into YouTube, search for videos. Once you find the video you're looking for, you should know how to copy the link to the video. You should also know how to copy the embed code to the video, and how to link to a video in an email, and also how to embed video in another website. Both those skills will be important in terms of communicating with college coaches and putting together your recruiting profiles. Now, a lot of communication, again, taking place now on Facebook and Twitter. So again, you should be familiar with those. You should have profiles that'll make it easier for coaches to work with you. But let's remember this: anything you put on Facebook or Twitter, once you establish it as a method of communicating with that coach, is now available for that coach to look at. So you got to keep that in mind. You got to keep your digital media clean. You got to keep your Facebook account clean. You got to keep your Twitter account clean. You don't want to be using those as communication avenues with college coaches and then sending them pictures of you underage drinking or whatever the case may be. So got to keep that in mind. Got to be smart when it comes to digital media, because coaches are using it as a means of communication and as a means of evaluating whether or not you're the type of person they want to bring to their college or university. So keep that in mind. Now, email. Again, you should be comfortable sending emails. You need to know how to embed a link in an email. I mean, when it comes to sending out emails to coaches, your ability to embed a highlight link or some complete game footage link into that email can make the job of that recruiting coordinator much easier, and it can make him more likely to recruit you as well. So keep that in mind. Now, you should also probably be familiar with capture and editing of video, particularly if you're going to be producing your own highlights. So, again, as I mentioned, with $600 to $800 investment, you can typically put yourself in possession of all the hardware necessary to make a highlight and some of the software. So most PCs come with Windows Movie Maker, Macs come with iMovie, and these are both pretty effective and easy to use tools when it comes to producing highlights. Okay, so if you want to produce your own highlights, you need to become familiar with capturing video into one of these software programs to edit video, and you need to learn a little bit about editing as well. And then you can produce your own highlights and drive that process as well. All right, now let's talk about email campaigns. Now, to be as proactive as possible, the best thing for you to do is to begin actively emailing colleges and expressing your interest in competing for them in a given sport. Again, a couple ways that you can do this. Number one is just that group email. So as I mentioned, you go through, you do your research, you get all the email addresses for the coaches and recruiting coordinators for the colleges and universities that you're interested in, and you can create one copy and paste set of addresses that you can use over and over again. So that first email has some information from you expressing your interest, and then you can include links to your highlight videos. You can include links to complete games, and then they automatically have a return link for your email by the fact that you've sent them an email. So a very effective method of communicating with college coaches. So in one email, you could send hundreds of colleges your highlight video, link to game video, link to combine or showcase performance video, etc. So very effective, very efficient method of communicating with coaches and being proactive. Again, if you're sitting around waiting for that college opportunity to find you, you're probably going to be spending your first year out of high school on the Big Island. So you can't wait. You got to pursue these opportunities. And an email campaign is probably one of the easiest ways to go about it. Now, once you send that initial email out, hopefully you'll get a few feelers back, and then you'll have an idea of what group of colleges have an interest in you. And then you could maybe create another group of addresses that deal specifically with those that you've received feedback from, and then start following up. A good thing to follow up is when something happens. Okay, coach, we just had a good game. I just wanted to send you a link of this game footage. Or, hey, coach, I just was named All-State. Just wanted to send you a link of the list of All-State players. Anything like that, just to keep your name in front of the coaches, keep communicating with them, let them know that you're serious about competing at their school. This can be important. So you want that initial email campaign to go out to a large group. as you start narrowing down the schools that have interest, then you can create a smaller group for mass emails, and you can do follow-up. Again, let that coach know that you have an interest, and that can be very, very important. All right, so you've done everything you needed to do. You got the grades. You performed at a high level. You did your research. You produced a highlight video. You sent out an email campaign with links to the video and game footage. You did your follow-up. You got an offer or offers to consider. So at that point, typically what you're looking at, once the offers have been made, then it becomes a process of deciding which school you want to go to, and then committing to that school through the process of signing a letter of intent. And again, the letter of intent is just a way of the school acknowledging that they want you to come play for them, and you acknowledging that you want to come play for the school. Depending on the level of school, they can have greater degrees of binding, if you will. So, if you sign a D1 letter of intent for a full scholarship, getting out of that and changing your mind is not always easy. At a JC, a little different story. So again, make sure that you're familiar with the procedures surrounding letters of intent, and that you don't sign the letter of intent until you're actually ready to commit to a very specific school. And if you pay any attention to recruiting at all, that's on the sports news, you do see from time to time that students change their mind and change. And sometimes they do it when they've only made a verbal commitment. That's one thing. But once you've signed that letter of intent, at D1 school, if you want to get out of it, they have to release you. They have to give you permission to go to pursue another opportunity. So again, letter of intent, somewhat binding depending on the level of school you're attending. So it's important to make a good decision before you sign that first one. Now, once that's done, once you've made the commitment, hopefully you have a few months to be getting ready, because there's a whole lot of planning and preparation that go into going to college and competing in athletics, another level of preparation. So real important that once you have made the commitment, once the decision has been made, you know where you're going to school, that you immediately start in terms of planning and preparation, starting to set aside the money that you're going to need to travel, getting the list of stuff that you're going to need to take with you, that type of thing. So the more planning and preparation you do before you actually leave, the easier the process is when you get to the school that you're going to, in terms of moving into housing, being prepared with what you need for housing, being prepared with what you need for the first few days of practice, and where to go, etc., that type of thing. So again, once you sign the letter of intent, it's not the end, it's the beginning of a new phase. So congratulations are due, certainly, but the work's not over. Now it's just a different phase that you have to get into in terms of planning and preparation to take advantage of the college opportunity, not only from a standpoint of the sports side, but also from the academics as well, because when it all is said and done, the chance that you're a professional athlete, pretty minimal, but if you can turn that athletic skill into a college degree, that's a big, big plus, and something that we all should be interested in. All right, with this presentation, we've taken a broad look at what Big Island athletes can do to better prepare themselves to take advantage of college sports opportunities. A lot of steps need to be taken, a lot of very specific skills and techniques that need to be learned and put into practice. So as we progress through the summer and move closer to next year, hopefully we'll be able to take a closer look at some of these specific topics in more detail. In the meantime, remember that to pursue that college sports opportunity, there's a lot of things that you can get started on right now. Preparation. Make sure you're taking the right classes. Make sure you're getting your grades together. Make sure you're committed to that sport. You're doing everything possible to improve your skill level and the competitiveness of the team that you participate on. Self-evaluation. Make sure you're honest with yourself about your skill level, about your academic level, about your ability to actually pursue an off-island education. These can make the process a bit easier and a bit more comfortable if you're honest early on and make a good self-evaluation about what you can actually accomplish in college sports. Now, again, recruiting profiles, some can be helpful, others can be expensive and lead to disappointment. So you need to be intelligent and you need to utilize a recruiting profile if you put one together, because they're static and they sit there unless coaches are going and actively looking for them. So if you just are producing a recruiting profile, letting it sit there and not doing any follow-up on your own, you're probably missing out on opportunities. And that's where that email campaign comes in. Again, that's you taking the bull by the horns, going out and communicating directly with colleges, letting them know you have an interest, letting them know you have a certain skill level through video highlights, game footage, combine numbers, etc., and that you're ready to come and compete. So if you take all these steps seriously and do your preparation, chances are you find yourself with a college sports opportunity that you can take advantage of. And that's what we're trying to do here on the Big Island. We'd love to have you guys live on the Big Island once you graduate from high school, but we'd rather see you go away for 4 years, have that college sports opportunity, get that degree, come back to the Big Island as a contributing member to society and make an impact. And that's the best possible outcome when we talk about our local athletes pursuing these sports opportunities. So good luck. Certainly we're available at SportsViz to answer any questions. Coach Thane at sportsviz.com. 808-938-6805 is the phone number. So by all means, if you have questions, you need help, give us a call, shoot us an email, and we'll help you in whatever way we can. In the meantime, hit the books, do the work, and you too can be a college athlete. Aloha.
Hawaiian Island warriors, here we come again. Hawaiian Island warriors.